here today we have an E-Class, and like the many E-Classes we've done, this one has got a horrible noise, but this is from the timing chain. Now we're going to go ahead, prepare it, take the front end off, take off the under trays. Once we've taken the front end off, remove the engine and go through the process. Okay, so I've taken off the front wheel arch liners, the front half of it, both sides, along with the front bumper and the headlights both sides. Now I'm going to prepare to take off the front panel complete with the legs that go into here. This one piece, then I'll be taking the rad pack. Also I've taken off all the engine under trays underneath from back to front. I'm going to drain the oil in a minute whilst I take off the front panel. So the front panel, well, I know I've got 3 bolts up here, then I've got those 3 in here, 4 in here, and a few other, I've got, I think, some through here, if I remember correctly, or some through here actually, my bad, this right there. And separate the bonnet cable. Once the front panel's out, take out the coolant. I've emptied the AC anyway with the machine. So you're just gonna get on with it. Okay, so we prepared to take out the engine from last night, but couldn't record it much as it was getting dark. We've got our engine here, complete with the gearbox, taken out from the front. Now we're just gonna take it on our table, separate the gearbox, take off the DPF, take off the sump, rocker cover gasket from the top, and start replacing the parts that are required to change. Okay, so we've separated our gearbox there, taken off the rocker cover along with the injectors. Sump is open. Lock the cams. Lock the gear wheels here, spring loaded, and the camshaft are out the timing position. But as the timing was out, I'll show you here where the mark for OT is. Realistically, it should be here, where this notch is, right here. But it's all the way here, so this shows how much the timing is out. And when we come to the back of the engine, where we can see some parts of the timing chain. If you can see the guide, there's a plastic part, the amber orange part missing. So obviously once we open it up, we should be able to see exactly where it is. We've also got our parts, so we always advise genuine Mercedes parts. So we've got the rocker cover gaskets, all the relevant gaskets required. These are for the sump and the guide for the chain. This is the sprocket for the oil pump. Because the sump comes 2 pieces, there's 2 pieces of gaskets that we replace. Rear crank oil seal, which we always advise replacing. And then we've got the timing chain in here. We've got 2 more parts of the guide. Now we've got the oil pump. It always comes with 2, it's a 3 bolt on the oil pump, but always comes with 2 bolts inside the box. So we need to buy this bolt separately, which is part of the oil pump. And then we've got our chain tensioner, as it says. This is the oil pump belt, oil pump chain, my bad. The oil pump inside this box. And just little bits and pieces, so stuff like this. And this for the oil pump vacuum line, which we'll place. So yeah, these are all our parts which are ready. We're waiting on one part. This part here, the water pump. As you can see, it's leaking. The signs of a leakage. We were told the customer that there is this leak, and it makes sense to take out the engine as the exhaust sits through here. It's bolted 1, 2, 3 bolts. It's bolted 3 bolts. So realistically, when it's on the car, you'll have to take the DPF off as it goes through here like this. But obviously, once the engine's out like this, we've taken off the DPF, it makes our life so much more easier. Told the customer they've given us the go-ahead, so we're waiting for the part for the water pump to arrive. In the meantime, we will crack on and remove the rear timing chain cover. Okay, so we've taken off the timing chain cover. Taken off our chain, oil pump chain, oil pump, cam gears, idler gear here. Now cleaning up the surface. still going to clean it a bit more, prepare it, then put our new oil pump in, oil pump chain, the new timing chain kit with the guides, tensioner and everything, and close it back up. We've got the water pump coming for the morning, as we said. Just like to make sure it's proper clean before we put it back, so that when we put the timing chain cover back on, we don't want any leaks or anything, as it is a extensive job. It takes a lot of time and effort and whatnot, so yeah, we'll most probably crack on with it tomorrow. It's getting late now, but we will keep up with the progress as we go along. Okay, so we've put our new timing chain on. You can see the new guides, new tensioner in here, idler gear on. You have to seal up the timing cover seal nicely, as we don't want any leaks. Water pump has been replaced. See, nice and shiny. Customer gave us a go ahead. Now we've checked the time and put it back to its place. We've locked the cams back up as well. Now we're just replacing the gaskets on the rocker cover, new ones on. So 3 gaskets. You've got a small one where the camshaft sits around, the middle one and the outer one. These are all the gaskets and stuff we've replaced. So these are for the sump. We've got the timing chain, we've got our guides, our rolled oil pump, our old tensioner. So we're just putting it back together slowly and put the engine oil in before we put the car in, just to see there's no leaks anywhere, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so we've closed up our engine, put the gearbox on, all the wiring loom. So this side we take off the alternator 30mm nut through here. This needs to go into here. Yep, like that. And it goes around. You've got 2 bolts here. One that goes onto the gearbox here. And we've got one that is going. Where is it? Is it through here, I think? Yeah. Well, one through here and one through my back. There. And it comes through here, connects to the exhaust gearbox bracket here, and goes to the starter motor from this side. Now, once we put the gearbox on, then we put the DPF on, which is held on by 30mm clamp here. It's got 1 bolt in between there. It's got 2 bolts, 1, 2, and then it's got 2 here. So yeah, that's our engine put back into its place. We've put our oil in, as you can see. So yeah, we're just gonna prepare it to put it back inside the car. Okay, so we've put the engine inside, tightened up the engine mounts, the rear transmission mount, plugged in the gearbox plug, fuel pipes, prop shaft tied up. All the starter and alternator cables here, they've been put in. Our coolant pipe here, we've plugged it in, and there's 2 pipes, 2 wires, 2 cables, 2 plugs that come out from here that go underneath the air filter box. They've been plugged in, air filter box ECU plugged in, airflow sensor, everything seems fine. Now it's ready for us to fire up, just to check that it starts before we go ahead and closing the front end off. And we'll just make sure it's running fine, have it running for around a minute, not to overheat as there's no coolant, all the pipes are open. And once we see that it's fine, we'll come in the morning, put the front end on, then have it run a bit more. And once it's all good, we'll close it back up. Okay, now we just had the ignition running to allow it to prime the fuel a little bit. It will take its time to start up for the first start now. start up this time. Sounding good, all good. We prefer it to start late as well, as it allows the oil to circulate throughout the engine on the first start of ignition. So it's all good, that's a good sign as well. But we check that the oil, when we call it oil pump, is working before we put the rocker cover on. But yeah, sounds all good, seems all good. Now we will leave it for today and then carry on tomorrow. Okay, so we've put the front end on as well. Filled up our coolant, put the AC gas back in when we empty the gas with the machine. Sounds all good now. Apart from the turbo is a little bit noisy, which we'll advise the customer about to keep an eye on, get the oil changes done regularly, and eventually in the near future they might have to replace it. But yeah, apart from that, it's all good. We're taking it for a test drive. Drives well, switches gears nicely, no weird sounds. And as you can see, it is on 294,000 kilometers. It does, these Mercs, they do tend to have a software issue, which it'll swap to change from miles to kilometers. You'll have to manually change it every time. But yeah, thanks for watching our videos, guys, and I hope you like, comment and subscribe.